One of the possible challenges with selecting from, say, multiple copies of a TM mouthpiece is you will actually be struck by how consistent they look. But one of the most important factors in choosing a mouthpiece is certainly visual inspection. We're looking to make sure that there's no obvious blemishes along the rails. We're looking for a nice, even shape to the tip rail. We're just examining for any possible defects. Historically, we would probably discard mouthpieces from other lines, other brands, where there may be some kind of visual defect. But if we look at the history of mouthpiece design, we often would say that possible defects could lead to something very special in a mouthpiece, actually. So there were people that might have looked for something that was different about a mouthpiece, but we're well past that. Quality control has reached a point where we're demanding consistency. We're demanding that mouthpieces don't have any kind of immediate visual defects. So I would say, though, when a student, for instance, is choosing a mouthpiece, that they really do carefully inspect that mouthpiece that they may be purchasing. What you will find with the TM series is just how beautiful it is. It's just a work of art unto itself. When I begin to test mouthpiece after mouthpiece after mouthpiece after mouthpiece, I'm starting to look for the pea under the mattress. What is that extra percentage that I might find from mouthpiece to mouthpiece? And that's something that is quite special because we're talking about, at its very baseline, the Vocalise TM series plays great, immediate response. It's not going to have any major emission trouble. The mouthpiece will play. So in terms of choosing a mouthpiece, we're now starting to look for deeper nuances in the color and maybe the slight variations in the response. Now today, I'm performing on a TM2, and this is a solid silver Ishimori woodstone ligature. And my reed is a Diodario Strength 3 Reserve reed. This reed wasn't necessarily paired with this mouthpiece. This was actually a mouthpiece I picked up right off the demo line at the Backun factory. I liked it so much, I just immediately started playing on it. That's one of the beauties of the Vocalise series, is the adjustment time might be quite reduced, particularly if you were changing within the line or if you were coming from another brand. You may find that there's such an immediacy of what you're looking for that adjustment time, that kind of conventional adjustment time of 3 to 6 months of reed rotation and practicing, you'll find that that's heavily reduced with the TM series. There's an immediacy that will allow you to go forward with confidence that you could play it pretty quickly upon obtaining a mouthpiece. But I'm certainly going to look for its overall clarity of emission. Does it have any type of impurity in the tone, airiness, buzziness, fuzziness? Some of that certainly could come from the reed. I'm not implying that the mouthpiece would inherently have that, but there could be variations in the baffle that lead to some kind of reflection in there. But I'm going to look for something that's very pure at the softest dynamics. Now this reed is a little bit broken in, but it wasn't necessarily paired with this mouthpiece. I'm going to test the mouthpiece particularly with articulating notes, because that's where we start to hear possible artifacts in the sound. If a mouthpiece has any kind of variation in the lay or in the baffle, oftentimes articulations can reveal that. But one great aspect of the TM series is just the immediacy. Most people have commented on how well the mouthpiece articulates. I think there's a lot of reasons behind that, but I'm certainly going to use that as a way to test mouthpiece to mouthpiece to mouthpiece. this was something I believe we intentionally set out to do early on, that a mouthpiece could articulate with power and not necessarily something that was too dependent upon the reed. If your reed is balanced, if the reed is not too hard at the tip, we have a mouthpiece that can project very well when we articulate and hopefully get a very pure sound in the process. I always tell my students, no spit, no fuzz, no buzz. That's what I'm looking for in a great classical sound. Not to say that those are deplorable aspects of a rock sound or a jazz sound, but in a classical setting, we're in very, very revealing scenarios, not unlike a recording studio like we are in today. And the microphone does not lie. If your sound has impurities in it, the microphone will reveal that. And it becomes a huge headache when you're recording music in professional settings, that the mouthpiece and the reed combination could have many impurities in the sound. Sometimes we are always searching for that perfect reed, but it's nice knowing that a mouthpiece is not the culprit in that regard. We are always kind of trying to find that magical pairing. And I'm finding that majority of my reeds play with the purity that I desire. That's something that's very important that I look for in the TM series has that as its baseline, a very pure, even sound. Now, if I'm going to pick a reed, I'm going to look at the reeds that pair with that mouthpiece. It's really crucial that we understand that a TM2 is not for a very hard reed. And it's also important to understand that the TM1 is not to be paired with a very soft reed. We need to harness the power of the mouthpiece. We need to harness the mouthpiece's true potential. For me, in my bite point, the way I voice, where I use my air, harnessing the best qualities of the TM2 come from a strength 3 reed for me. That's what allows me to play with the purity I'm looking for, and even that powerful projection that I'm looking for in a symphonic setting.